CM Punk is reportedly ready to move the fuck on from AEW and begin a new life, but AEW doesn't quite want to let go. Of course, this, according to Dave Meltzer, who take him with a grain of salt. Suddenly, Meltzer's got all the scoops on Punk, right? He was the same guy that reported, people close to Punk were upset or not happy with the Elite taking their shots at Punk last week and again this week. And it seems to be a thing that they're going to continue to do, perhaps. There's more shit about it on BTE, but we're not going to cover all that this week. Punk wants out. He wants out of there. At least that's what Meltzer's saying. Let's go ahead and listen to this clip from Wrestling Observer Radio. Bryan Alvarez breaking down the details according to Meltzer.
CM Punk is ready and willing to move to his next project. Dave Meltzer addressed the latest on Punk's AEW status, noting the former world champion still under contract being paid by the promotion. Well, that is true. Punk, as of this weekend, Dave said, was still under contract AEW being paid. Those close to him say the holdup on his being released is all on the AEW side, as he is ready and willing to move to his next project. It said here that following the November 23rd Dynamite, there was some speculation the Elite mocking Punk and referencing All Out in their match was teasing a future Punk versus Elite program. It was noted in the Observer, those close to the situation say there's, quote, no chance of that happening. I tried to tell you guys that.
This sucks so bad the way that this whole thing unfolded. If this is really the end of CM Punk, it's a fucking travesty. It really is, because we, for years collectively as a wrestling fan base, for 7 years, chanted CM Punk anytime wrestling was boring, lame, sucky, shitty. It was our battle cry as fans to let people know that what we're watching sucks and we want something better, that we want our hero back, our anti-hero, CM Punk. This was a chant that came out usually when matches were just boring and shitty and no one cared, and people would just chant for CM Punk, and it happened nonstop for 7 years. Nobody ever forgot this man, and he mentioned that on his return promo at the First Dance in Chicago. I heard you. For 7 years, I heard you. God, this whole thing, it just sucks, right? Like, Punk's not going to budge. He's not going to come back and try to play ball or anything like that. We covered that last week. Punk's laughing at this whole thing. So he's ready to move on. I don't know what he's ready to move on to. I don't know if he's looking to just continue his MMA commentary career and movies and that sort of thing, because he's, that's what he was doing for the 7 years he was off, TV shows. He's going to be more of a full-time character on Heels this year. He did 2 episodes last season. If you haven't watched that show, you should. It's fucking great. It really is. Punk was on there, and he was great on there, and I think he's going to have a more reoccurring role. He's got his MMA commentary with Cage Fury. And, there's even the talks that Triple H might be willing to bring him in for at least a shot or something. And that's not even to rule out his possibility of going to New Japan. I think Punk's too big of a star to just start doing low-level indie shit. And by low-level indie shit, I don't mean the indie show in your fucking neighbor's backyard. I mean MLW, for example, or GCW, or even New Japan Strong. New Japan in Japan is kind of on the border. I'd say they're the third biggest company in the world. I think they're, definitely big enough to have Punk, but I don't know that he would go that low. I think he'd be looking to either go back to WWE for a shot or just not wrestle at all anymore, though reports are that he's got that wrestling bug in him again from doing it, that he loves this shit and he wants to keep doing it. Who knows? Maybe Freddie Prinze Jr. will scoop him up for his Fed. Who knows? and AEW doesn't want to let Punk go, and I wonder what's going on there all of a sudden, because it seemed to me that they were the ones that were just done with him. We don't want this guy around here anymore. He's a poison to our locker room. I think Tony Khan is a mark for CM Punk, and I don't blame him. I'm a mark for CM Punk too. I think Khan really wants Punk there, but I think his locker room is fairly united against Punk. And I think that's where Tony Khan is. That's where his hang-up is. He knows Punk's going to be where the money's at. He knows he's a giant star that he can market and run with his brand. Look, Chris Jericho aside, Bryan Danielson aside, CM Punk is the name that roster needs to be taken. Like, they lost stock after losing CM Punk. They really did. Not just the drama that gave them a bad look, but they lost stock. Like, don't feel like they're as big or major league of a company now. And which is sad, because you got Bryan Danielson, who literally main evented WrestleMania before, in the same year that he debuted on AEW, but he's been used just so poorly that he's basically fucking Eddie Kingston at this point. And Eddie Kingston should be a bigger star than he is. And Chris Jericho, as big of a star as he is, he's almost starting to feel like the old washed up big star in a small pond. And I wouldn't have said that before. Yeah, look, AEW is a strong number 2. But I feel like, and their ratings are starting to slip. Now their demographic is even starting to slip. I feel like AEW's kind of starting to fall here. I'm not predicting the end, but God, they could find themselves closer to TNA than they are to WWE real fucking quick, and that's a bad look if that happens. But they're putting no effort into Rampage still. They're doing barely anything to make Dynamite a must-see show. It's just hopefully MJF can carry them to some higher ratings, and that remains to be seen still. But I think it's going to be a huge blow to them if they lose CM Punk. I don't want to see it happen. I do think let CM Punk heal 100% at this point and bring him back when it's been basically a year, re-debut him at All Out. He could return and he could be the biggest heel. Bring him back as a heel. Lean into it. But you gotta, you're going to alienate your entire locker room if you do that, unless he's willing to make amends, which I don't think he will. So I do believe we have seen the end of CM Punk. And I don't know what AEW's hang-up is. We had heard before it was just the non-compete part of it, but maybe there's a part of them that still wishes that it could make it happen. But again, it's sad. It just really is sad. He came in so hot, the first dance, and now just this mess. And he's tarnished his entire legacy. He really has. Even if he does move on to somewhere else, he's not going to have that, it's going to be a giant black mark on his career for the rest of his life.
Oh yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah, and you can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Oh yeah, dig it.